Do you suffer with pain? Are you looking for relief? There is help. Welcome to Back Talk with Dr. Steve Lininger, brought to you by Manassas Chiropractic and Rehab. And now, your host.
Thanks so much for joining me this week for Back Talk with Dr. Steve Lininger. I'm Kimberly, your host, and today we'll be talking with Dr. Lininger about neck pain and headaches. Now, before Dr. Lininger joins us, just a reminder that if you have questions at any time, please visit us at www.chiropractor-manassas.com. Neck pain can result from wear and tear over time, trauma, a car accident. Now, no one wants to be in pain, but some common solutions include surgery and pain management with heavy-duty painkillers and other pharmaceuticals. Dr. Lininger is going to tell us how we can live our lives without pain and avoid a potentially unnecessary or unsuccessful surgery. Dr. Lininger, it's great to be talking with you again today.
That's great to be here once again. Thank you.
We've always covered so much ground, so I'm going to dive right in and just ask you, what are the most common causes of neck pain that you see in your clinic?
Oh, by far, the most common cause of neck pain is car accidents. Even small car accidents can cause whiplash injuries to the ligaments, discs, vertebrae, and nerves in the neck. I think a distant second would be some sort of fall or, sleeping incorrectly, lying. Sometimes people lie down on a sofa and fall asleep, and it can mess up their neck. And if they consistently do that, they can develop problems. But by far, in a way, it's automobile accidents. Interesting.
Now, is whiplash just another term for neck pain, or is it its own thing?
It can encompass neck pain, but not all whiplashes have neck pain, and not all neck pain are whiplashes.
Okay.
So whiplash describes an event that occurs during the accident in which many times ligaments in the neck are torn or shorn through or damaged, and that is the actual whipping event that occurs of the head and neck during, say, a rear-end collision.
Okay, so what's going on in other types of neck injuries or neck pain that you treat? What's the, as you might say, the mechanism?
Yeah, sure. You can have a lot of the mechanism of injury, I think is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
The discs in the neck can bulge or herniate. I see a lot of that, especially with hairstylists. I see a lot of neck injuries like disc bulges and herniations. Oh. And I think it has to do with the way that they hold their posture is very irregular when they're working, and for many, many years, and sort of tilted posture, mm-hmm. With their arm up in the air, and so they have. I've treated a lot of hairstylists that get disc herniations. Other injuries can be misalignment of the vertebrae in the neck, which is known as subluxation. That can cause pinched nerves in the neck, which can cause neck pain, headaches, because some of the nerves in the top of your neck, C1 and 2, they go up to the head. So if those nerves are pinched, the patient can get inflammation in that nerve, and that nerve goes up to the head, and it can cause headaches. I'd say those are the most common ones. Also, sometimes there's visual disturbances because the nerves at C2 innervate the eyes, so patients can get, difficulty seeing on one side, or they lose some sight before a migraine headache comes on. Mm-hmm. That's called prodrome. Mm-hmm. That's associated with nerve inflammation of the nerves in the upper neck.
So a neck injury doesn't necessarily present itself as neck pain.
No, I had a patient this morning that came in with a neck injury that when I tested, I did a very cursory test of her hearing. And on the left side where her pain was, she had lost air conduction in her hearing and was having trouble with balance and coordination as well.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's because the nerve in her neck was compressed. The neck goes to the inner ear where the balance centers are. Mm-hmm. So she had lost some hearing, and she has had difficulty with vertigo, where she's losing her balance. And that's all related to the inflammation of that nerve that's coming out of the neck going to the inner ear. Now, what she initially told me was neck pain, but having delved a little deeper, that's what we discovered. That was right this morning.
Wow, that's fascinating. So if things are just not quite right, it still may be something worth checking out with a chiropractor.
That's right.
'Cause
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in fact, the woman this morning had been to about 4 doctors prior to coming to see me,
mm-hmm.
and they had done the correct tests and things, but no one had kind of pieced it together like I did with her, is what she told me anyway.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Leninger, what happens when someone arrives at your clinic for the first time? Kind of walk us through the process.
Okay, so we do what's called an intake on the first day when they come in. Now, an intake consists typically, and there are exceptions to this in like emergency situations and things like that. Typically, they're going to sit down in our nice plush chairs up front, and the staff is going to come over and they're going to hand the patient a clipboard with a pen, and they're going to politely ask them in either Spanish or English, which we have forms in both, to please fill out the form completely and don't leave any blanks, please. And then they're going to fill out the paperwork, and they're going to ask them for some sort of identification that we can make a copy of to put in their file, like a picture ID. And if they have insurance, we typically ask to make a copy of the front and back of their insurance card. After they fill out the paperwork, we have a little, it's like a portable DVD player that the staff brings them with a little nice Bose earphones, mm-hmm. and they're going to watch a little 5 or 6 minute video that kind of tells them about what we're going to do that day.
Oh.
It tells them a little bit about chiropractic and how it works and what they can expect for today's visit. So after watching the video, then they are escorted by the staff back into the exam room, and then the staff alerts me that the patient is ready, and I look over the paperwork and then come into the room and introduce myself, and I sit down with them, and we always invite, if they have family members with them, unlike other doctors' offices, we always invite the whole family to come back into the consult room. So that's a really good way, if they have questions about their family member's condition, I'm right there, so they can stop me. I'm going to go through a consult with them where I'm going to take a full history going way back when they ever. So typically people will say, like, oh, I have back pain, and I'll ask them, when did it start? And they'll write down on the paper a week. But then when I talk to them, it'll turn out that really it happened about 10 years ago, and it's been off and on since,
Right.
So we get deeper into the condition during the consult and the history. So we take a full history, and then at that point, I typically will recommend some sort of examination. Depending on the condition, it'll be either a problem-based exam or a full, thorough exam, depending on what the patient needs. If they were referred to me with radiographs or MRIs, we'll take a look over the report and the findings there. It's very common for us to recommend X-rays, which we take in-house right there. Or if they have we suspect a disc injury, I may order an MRI. And I may want to see that before we go any further. I don't like to start treating a patient or place my hands on until I've seen what the structure underneath looks like. Because we're going to be messing around with the neurology of the patient. And we don't want to do that with all the most current information available. My primary focus is to never make them worse than when they walked in. It's to make them better.
That's a good.
Does that make sense?
Yes, so that's a good philosophy.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
We like that.
Yeah, that's always my first thing, is do no harm. So
right.
I like to have all the information before I start treating. So typically the first day after the exam and or X-rays are taken, we're going to end the first day there. And then I'm going to need some time to look over their X-rays and evaluate what we found in the exam, and then present that back to the patient when they come back in, usually the next day.
Sounds like a really thorough intake and all about the patient's comfort. Now
Absolutely.
We've got just a couple of minutes left. I wanted to ask you to answer kind of the age-old question, where do chiropractors come from? What kind of education and training do you have to go through to treat patients?
That's a very good question. a lot of people think that we go to some kind of weekend seminar to get a certificate or something.
Right.
And that's just not, nothing could be further from the truth. We take the same classes that medical doctors take. Most of our classes I sat right next to medical doctors in some of our classes, students. We were taught by medical doctors in many of our classes, alongside the MDs. You basically need 4 years of undergraduate. You have to have a degree before you matriculate. So you need a basic, and it has to be, you have to have basic science requirements. They're the exact same classes that you need to apply to medical school. So organic chemistry 1 and 2, chemistry 1 and 2, biology 1 and 2, algebra 1 and 2, physics 1 and 2, and calculus, I think, was needed in there too. And so once you have those classes, you can matriculate, and the doctor of chiropractic degree takes an additional 4 years. So it is very intensive, and it's the same amount of hours required for a medical student. In fact, I think we take a little bit more hours, definitely in radiology, than a medical doctor takes, because we deal with a lot more X-rays than a primary.
So there's a lot of training behind what you do.
It's about 8 years total.
Well, that's
and then I've been practicing
well,
for 10 more on top of that.
Excellent.
When the real training begins.
Right.
And also there are four national board exams that you have to pass to be certified and licensed in every state in the United States.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the schooling.
We're just about out of time, but are you licensed in every state, or do you have to license yourself in each individual state? You
have to license in each individual state.
Okay.
Now, many doctors hold multiple licenses in multiple states, but every state has its own requirements, although the national boards are now the gold standard for most states.
Sure. Now,
to become licensed.
You've covered a lot of ground for us today on neck pain and neck injury and just general chiropractic care. If someone decides they want to come and consult with you, what's the best way to contact you?
The best way to contact us is to either go to our website at chiropractor-manassas.com, or they can call us directly at 703-396-7770. And
remind us where your office is located.
Oh, right next to Klein's Freeze Ice Cream on Centerville Road, 8214 Centerville Road.
Excellent. We are out of time, but if you can think of someone who might benefit from what we've covered here today, they will thank you for forwarding this episode on to them. And a reminder that if you enjoyed the show, you can also share us with your friends on Facebook at facebook.com/Manassas Web Radio. Dr. Leninger, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening. To join a discussion, visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/Manassas Chiro. And to schedule an appointment with Dr. Steve Leninger, call 703-891-9501. That's 703-891-9501.